Welcome to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-hosts, Vern Glenn, FP Santangelo Jr., and Russell Jackman. And at each commercial break, we're going to ask a sports trivia question. And this time I do have the questions. You know what? Last week was the first week in, 8 years or something that I'd forgotten to get I'm so enthralled with football, I had forgotten to get the questions set up. So this time it's going to actually be the NFL Pro Bowl. Be kind of right? We'll see if we do it. Hey, anything to do with football is okay, right? Is on limits, as they say. All right, and when we come back, there's a few things we want to talk about. Obviously, we'll talk about wild card games and all that. But if we have any time, Djokovic facing a possible 3-year ban in Australia. Whoa. Super Bowl.
But he's going to play now, right? He's going to play.
Is that what the latest is? Okay, so I said these questions.
Yeah, judge overturned everything.
Yep. There you go. Okay, like that. Super Bowl may move from California to Texas.
Yeah, there's talk.
There's talk. Yeah. There's always talk about all this stuff, right? I know Russell doesn't want to talk about Antonio Brown. I was just kind of curious to see if you guys if you have an opinion about if our doctor's opinion if he has CTE. We don't know. And then the Dolphins fire coach Brian Flores. And my point is this must have been decided early in the season because they won 8 of the last 9 games, and the players are sick over this.
That thing. Zimmer, I could understand. Nagy, I could understand. Flores, I was like, really? Boy, they want an upswing.
When they're on an upswing, so you got to figure that stuff has to be decided early on.
Unless there were talks with Jim Harbaugh before all this happened, but we'll never know.
We'll find out. Is he coming? Is he going to be the next?
Well,
we'll see.
Nobody's saying anything now, but that's just going to be kind of a speculation type thing.
All right, stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. We are going to be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, along with FP Santangelo Jr., Vern Glenn, and Russell Jackman. All right, FP, take it away with what's going on Wild Card Weekend.
All right, Wild Card Weekend. I'm just looking at some of the lines here, guys, and it's pretty crazy. Most notably, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Steelers. 12.5 points the Chiefs are favored by. 12.5.
When's the last time? I mean, I remember there was some game that it was like there was a 14-point spread some years back between playoff teams, but I don't remember which one. Isn't that kind of?
It's got to be up there with one of the most lopsided games, at least going into it with the point spread. And then I'm looking at
the big lopsided game. This is before. Well, see, I think Ed was around. I was around. FP, you weren't born. And I don't think Russ was either. But the Colts were 19-point favorites to win Super Bowl III over the Jets.
That's right.
And the Jets came in and won that one 16-7.
Yeah. Well, there was, I think, 4 or 5 turnovers.
And the day before, 2 days before the game, Joe Namath was talking to reporters, and Joe said, "You know what? We're going to win that game. I guarantee it."
Wow. That's great knowledge.
That point spread really disrespects the Pittsburgh defense, which I just think is one of the better defenses that we have going into the playoffs. And Watt just set the record or tied the record for most number of sacks in a season.
But at the same time, Russ, you're asking the Steelers to go into Kansas City, and I've been there. It's one of the loudest places to play, and beat the Chiefs with all of those weapons for a Steeler team that just, let's face it, I mean, they just barely got into these playoffs. So I think,
they'll beat them. I'm not saying they'll beat them, but I think their defense will keep it closer than 12 points.
For 4 quarters? Let's see. Yeah. Let's talk next Tuesday about that.
I do want to bring up, so the Raiders Chargers. This is conjecture, but I'm kind of wondering: was the Chargers calling a timeout really the thing that pushed over the Raiders to say we're going to win this thing rather than both teams getting into the playoffs?
I think everybody in the building thought about it for a split second. Boy, what if?
Yeah.
But listen to this. This is the most compelling argument.
The Raiders called running plays, and the Chargers couldn't stop the run. And then Josh Jacobs, he had that big. It wasn't quite a chunk play, but it was a significant play. and at the point they had to kick the field goal, just had to.
Yeah. So guys, this is the most compelling argument.
Okay.
If the Raiders didn't win, they'd be playing the Kansas City Chiefs right now. If they win right now, like they did, they're playing the Bengals. So would you rather play the Bengals or the Chiefs?
I think that's more what it was than anything else. That totally makes sense.
The Raiders don't owe the Chargers anything. They're interdivision rivals. Why would you want to do your interdivision rival a favor?
No, it's more like if they talked about it how what happens if you have a muffed field goal and they run it back for a touchdown. I mean, how often does that happen? Not too much, or someone getting hurt. So yeah, I totally get why they went ahead and kicked the field goal. That's the main thing. I think what FP pointed out was the playing the Bengals rather than the Chargers.
Yeah, and the Bengals favored by 6 points to win that game, and they're trying to win a playoff game for the first time in 30 years. They're like 0-8 over that span. But the Raiders are rolling. I mean, they've won 4 straight. They've beaten Browns, Broncos, Colts, and the Chargers to get in. They got Max Crosby on one end. They've got Yannick Ngakoue on the other end, and they got weapons defensively. They've been able to control the line of scrimmage, and they've been able to run the football, and that's how they've been really kind of controlling these games. So I give the Raiders all kinds of chances to go in there and pull it off. I mean, it's going to be a different game than the first time they met when Cincinnati went to Vegas and won 32-13.
So, guys, I just want to read the rest of the lines for this weekend. So, the Raiders and Bengals, 5.5 points. We got the Patriots and Bills, 4 points. We got Tampa Bay Eagles, 8.5 points. That's also another steep line right there. And then the one that I think we're all circling here in the Bay Area, 49ers Cowboys, 3-point spread. And then
-3.
Dallas is favored in that. And then we got the Cardinals and Rams, -4 points. But I'm really excited about Sunday, guys, in that Cowboys 49ers game. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. It's funny, we talked to Kyle Shanahan about this. And in fact, I ran a soundbite last night on the news. Shanahan said, yeah, the players are fired up for it, but they have no idea of this being a big time rivalry, because he says, hey, a lot of my roster, these guys were born in the 2000s. So they don't have any kind of reference to the catch and all that kind of thing. They don't remember that. They just recognize it as a big playoff game, and they're fired up for that.
Hands up. I'm 26 years old, and I had to take a history class on the Dallas Cowboys 49ers rivalry. I was born in 1995, so I didn't even know what was going on, and I know about this rivalry. I know everybody in the Bay Area hates the Cowboys, but I never understood why.
Well, wasn't it?
I took a history class. I went on YouTube. I looked up all the rivalry and the bad blood between the teams and how they're always playing each other in the playoffs and how they always just had stacked rosters.
There was the onside kick in, I think, 1971. Was it? It was Jackie Slater? No. Who was? I can't remember who was the 49er who fumbled the onside kick, and Roger Staubach took him. I think that was a playoff game, wasn't it?
Well, they faced three times in the early 70s, and that game could have gone either way. It went the Cowboys' way, but 49ers very much could have won those games and advanced to play in more Super Bowls than they already have. So.
Yeah.
And FP, there's just a thing about Dallas. I mean, the San Francisco and Dallas, whether you're talking, the Warriors and the We Believe season, or you're talking, the mid 90s, the San Francisco Dallas rivalry is a real rivalry between those two cities. And look at Texas. The Texas Rangers against the Giants in the World Series.
I was just gonna say, Russ, it's got to be a California versus Texas kind of like rivalry, just because they're just so different politically too, especially San Francisco.
Russ, wait a minute though. I thought the Cowboys were America's team.
49ers are the world.
By the way,
49ers are the world's team. By the way, you want to talk about numbers? The 49ers winning that game against the Rams. Someone calculated that there was a 0.4% chance for them to do all the things that they did to win that game, to come back from being down 7 with only a minute 30 left, to be able to get the coin flip, and then to take that down, get the field goal, and then with only a minute 30 left to then get the interception.
Yeah, hats off to Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Hats off to Debo. Hats off to Debo.
Yeah,
Forget Garoppolo. The MVP should be of the league, Debo Samuel. What could Debo Samuel do more than what he did in that game against the Rams?
Yeah, but you know what, Russ? You know what, Russ? 49ers don't win that game unless the teammates really believed in Jimmy Garoppolo. He had a 300-yard game. I mean, he was cool under pressure and was able to leave drives that started as at the 12-yard line, and he let him downfield. You got to give him credit for that. Come on.
Not as much as I give Debo. Debo ran that ball. He caught the ball, and he even threw for a touchdown.
Yeah,
What more can you ask from a wide receiver than a guy throwing for a touchdown? You don't get that Debo touchdown, you lose that game. Debo Samuel doesn't pick up the ball and start running with it, the 49ers lose 24-3.
Okay, all right. Hey guys, we're gonna
put that down there.
Russ. Okay, put that on hold for a second. We're gonna go to our first commercial break.
Russ is huge this morning.
I love it.
He gets
I love it.
I am fired up about Debo Samuel.
All right, first trivia question. 1976, which punt return specialist was named MVP? That's kind of hard, so I'm going to give you a hint. He had an uncolorful name. An uncolorful name. All right?
I think
You know this? All right.
I think I have the answer to that
With
one.
us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. We are going to be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, along with F.P. Santangelo Jr., Russell Jackman, and Vern Glenn. First trivia question, January 1976. We were just talking about guys who were versatile. I'd say this guy is very versatile. Which punt return specialist was named MVP of the Pro Bowl? And
I'm going to guess Billy White Shoes Johnson.
That's right. Billy White Shoes Johnson. Yeah. You still remember how he did his thing, and then, when he would make a touchdown? You remember that?
Yeah,
Well, no, actually, he would make a touchdown, and he would do something where he would like cross his knees and all that kind of stuff.
Cross his knees.
Yeah.
Then he'd take the ball and put it behind his neck, catch it with the other hand, and then put his front. For the guys who don't know,
it was a show. He was the first of the big time end zone celebration guys.
No,
Yes.
You know what? I'll tell you who was. Elmo Wright, Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, he would do the high knee thing.
That's right.
And then score a touchdown. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Very good. Very good. Okay. You guys have to. Okay. So for our younger audience, you have to YouTube Billy White Shoes Johnson's touchdown celebration and Elmo Wright. All right.
Here's the homework for the audience out there. Pull up YouTube and pull up Full Color Football, the history of the AFL. It's like a 5-6 part series, but man, it is awesome. Tells you the whole history of the AFL and how it evolved into the AFC. It's awesome.
So you're talking about the Houston Oilers and the Raiders and.
Oh yeah. The Dallas Texans before they became the Kansas City Chiefs. It was the whole it's the whole history of it. It's awesome. Technology, how they did TV back then in 1960. It's just great. Great stuff.
To me, the Colts are still an NFC team. What is this changing over? Like
they even for a split second showed the original colors of the Oakland Raiders, which were brown and yellow.
Oh
Wow.
yeah.
I didn't even know that.
That's ugly.
Yeah.
That's ugly.
Yeah. Well, once Al Davis took over, he said, forget rid of that. Then they went silver and black, the eye patch, and all that kind of stuff.
I
So
love it.
Very good. So is the Super Bowl going to move from California to Texas? What's going on?
no, God, come on! It's January 11th as we record this show. The Super Bowl is in a month. You can't. I say you just can't.
Okay.
I mean, I just think it's absolutely impossible to move that operation to where they want to put it. Texas Stadium, Jerry Jones' house. That's what.
Yep.
Boy, I don't see it.
Listen, I saw it on the internet by a troll, so it's got to be true.
Oh, football, but of course.
Of course, yeah. Okay.
No, I mean, this is actually a real conversation. Here, I work at NBC Sports Bay Area, and we've been discussing in case the 49ers get there, what are the logistics? Is it going to be in LA? Is it going to be in Dallas? And, we've been told to just like stand by a little bit, but I really don't see it happening unless this Omicron variant of COVID becomes extremely deadly all of a sudden and starts really wiping people out. Then we'd have to panic a little bit and make some adjustments. But, yeah,
Boy, it would be a logistical nightmare for the NFL to just move everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
think about all the money they would lose in ticket sales alone and all the events and advertisement revenue. Would be.
Aren't you guys a little concerned about these playoff games becoming super spreader events?
No, you know what? I mean, think about it. They're even saying that it's not even a flu anymore. It's like it's just a cold. It's a really bad cold, just like when flu season happens.
Is it FP
every year? I mean,
is it just a cold FP?
Well, I am recovering from COVID. I did get it, and it was pretty bad for me personally, but it's just different for everybody. It's really weird. I had the sore throat. I could barely swallow. One of the mornings I woke up, I had a hard time breathing, but that's just my case. I know I'm not a medical expert. Everybody's different. My friends got it. And
I hardly ever get sick, and if I do, I only get sick for a day or so. But I remember, I think it was 1988. I think it was the swine flu or the bird flu or the Asian flu. There was one of those, what had a name on it. That thing put me out for a whole week, and I was self-employed, and I really could not go to work. That was really serious sick, not hospital sick, but where you just can't do anything.
Yeah.
And in the case of the Philadelphia Eagles, not only are they 8.5-point underdogs, they got 11 players on the COVID list right now as we record this show.
Now, is it a 5-day?
That's going to come into the biggest thing right there is the COVID list. That's what's really going to sway a playoff game. And I think
is it a
5-day?
It's now 5 days rather than 10.
Yeah,
but that's 5 days no practice too. So
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. That's a major.
Which made the 49ers secondary even more amazing than it was, because most of the secondary was on the COVID list and missed practice all week, including Ambry Thomas, who got the interception to seal the win.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, that maybe that extra rest can kind of help you a little bit too, in case you're, a little extra sore. I don't know. It depends.
I think it depends on the position, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
So are we making any predictions for the Cowboys 49ers? What do you think?
Man.
49ers 100. Dallas negative 15.
Well, I'll tell you what, 79% of people that bet on this game bet the 49ers to win, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Looking at the statistics.
You know what? I as much as I'd love to see that happen, I think Dallas is going to more than cover the spread.
Ooh.
I see Dak press just I don't really like our secondary. I mean, there's the interception and all that, but I think that they just, again, just comparing other secondaries, they seem to.
But I bet you the game plan is for Shanahan, run the football and keep Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, and Ezekiel Elliott on the sidelines. They do that, 49ers win that game.
That's a good point. It's amazing.
Turnovers.
Yeah, the turnovers too. But
Bosa is the heartbeat of the defense. Once Bosa got that sack against the Rams, the 49ers came to life. And you could see the momentum absolutely change once Bosa got active and started sacking Stafford.
It'd be nice to see Eric Armstead get in there and rub his belly. That's what he does after every sack. Samson, Ebicom, Arden Kay, DJ Jones, all those guys, I would think would be on red alert to try and control that line of scrimmage.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They keep pounding, and they just wear out the defense. Yeah. Gotcha. Hey, a little basketball. Hey, how about Klay Thompson returning to the?
How about Klay Thompson?
Yeah, how about that?
Tickets to that game were going for $20,000.
Yeah. And through StubHub and Ticketmaster. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, seats were just going just double the face value of a regular. Let's just say they were playing the Orlando Magic. But that's dynamic pricing. It works. And that place was packed, and it was so loud you could not hear yourself think or talk. So Hey, good for him. 941 days. That's how much time he missed before he was able to get in there. And you figure, boy, well, how rusty is he? Well, he went through 2 defenders and dunked it.
Yeah, talk about lack of practice. Go ahead, FP.
Well, let's talk about the pricing. This is Sports Econ 101. On a whim, like 2 weeks ago, I got a ticket for the Sacramento Kings game 2 hours before the game. I decided to drive down there for $20.
I mean,
You go to the Golden State Warriors.
They paid you $20 to take it?
No, they should have. No, so
it cost you $50 to park, but the ticket was $20.
30 to park.
That's more
Actually.
gas.
30 to park. Okay.
That's funny you bring that up, Vern, because that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, it cost me more to actually park than go inside the Kings game. But think about the price disparity in the NBA right now. And then you go like only 2 hours away to the Golden State Warriors arena at Chase Center, and it's like $400 for the same ticket. It's insane.
Yeah.
Now the thing. Okay, so let me ask you: if the Warriors were playing in Sacramento, how much would those tickets have been? Do you think?
Oh, a golden. Golden
Curry effect. We call it the Curry effect. And what would happen is those tickets would probably be $200 that I bought.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But not as much as Chase Center though.
Not as much as Chase Center. No, absolutely not. That atmosphere is pretty incredible right now. I would be curious, though. Is it as good as Oracle yet? No, probably not, right? Is it getting there?
Yeah, need more time, FP. Need more time for that. And we may get there the way this team gets rolling. Hey, did you spend $20 for the 14-ounce can of beer?
No, I did not. Funny enough, but I did get a beanie for somebody as a gift, and that was again more expensive than the ticket.
Yeah, crazy. Crazy.
I remember before the Warriors, started winning. We had there was a friend of mine, not a friend, excuse me, just somebody had found on like Craigslist, and we get these corner tickets, right, like maybe 4 seats up from the floor. They're really, really good tickets for the corner. And I think we paid $150 a ticket, and it was it's a little pricey, but and they were okay. The Warriors weren't great. And then a couple of years later, the guy's selling the tickets for like $750 a pop.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I love basketball, love the Warriors, but I just can't see spending that kind of money. Okay,
well, it's the demand that drives the price up, right?
That's what it is. Okay, guys, ready for our second trivia question on the NFL Pro Bowl?
Sure.
Yeah.
This one's pretty easy too, actually. 1977. Which cornerback from the Steelers won the MVP?
Corner or quarterback?
Corner.
Cornerback.
Cornerback. Which cornerback from the Steelers won the MVP in 1977? I'm sorry, Russ. These all these trivia questions are from the 70s. When you were just a tight.
I know. I was 10, and I can guarantee I wasn't watching
Russ
the Pro
around?
Bowl 10 years ago.
Yeah, Russ was around.
I was 10 years old, but I wasn't watching the Pro Bowl.
All right, stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101 one more time. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn, FP Santangelo Jr., and Russell Jackman. Our second trivia question: which cornerback from the Steelers won the MVP?
Was it Mel Blount?
It was Mel Blount. Yes. Very good. All right. You are 2 for 2, and I know you're going to be 3 for 3 on the last one. So we like to kind of pump you up a little bit there. Okay. So Djokovic, he was facing a possible 3-year ban from Australia. And the thing is, he had already received medical exemption, and then the border authorities deemed it unacceptable and canceled his visa. But Vern, I think you said that he's now been accepted.
Yeah, the whole thing is bizarre. There were 26 players that received medical exemptions to play in the Australian Open, and he was one of them. And then for whatever reason, had to do something with his visa or something like that. It wasn't filled right. Anyway, it got rejected, and then he was ordered to leave the country. And then the lawyers came in and go, no, hang on, no, you hang on, Joker, you stay in the hotel, and we will work this out. And an Australian judge overturned whatever the issue was, and the visa was restored. And in fact, I going upstairs to do the news last night, I said I saw a quote from Djokovic going, "Wait, I'm concentrating now and trying to defend my title," because he is the defending champion for that.
Let me fill in some details here, Vern. So the reason why his visa got pulled was because he's supposed to quarantine before going into Australia for 14 days. He's not supposed to go to any other places, and he was traveling, I guess. I think evidence that showed he was in different places. He wasn't quarantined the 14 days in. And this has to do with his vaccination status. So he's not vaccinated.
Yeah, he's unvaccinated. Yeah.
And that's kind of the agreement. Apparently, he was out and about in other places, and that's why they pulled his visa. But then the court overruled it. He's still going through some immigration courts and stuff like that. But at this point, it looks like he's probably going to play. So
and then they test him to make sure he doesn't have.
Exactly, and he doesn't have. He doesn't have it.
Once a guy doesn't have it,
yeah. What's the risk?
Yeah, why the big hullabaloo?
Well, we're talking about Australia right now.
Talk about,
yeah, they're locked down the whole country, really.
Yeah, so Australia is probably one of the most extreme cases we've seen of government control over COVID-19, and it's pretty interesting case study if you look at it, and it's a pretty interesting sports study if you look at it. Thankfully for the U.S., there isn't too many events in Australia. Yeah. Besides this, what's going on now, but this is more of an international incident, and it's just really weird. And it kind of shows you the extremes of too much government control during a crisis. So,
are they playing rugby? They're playing rugby, aren't they?
Rugby? Yeah, exactly.
I mean, aren't they playing?
They're Australian rules football.
I mean, they're clamping down on the country, but they're I don't know if that's just like outsiders coming in or whatever.
It's everything. It's everything.
So that's what I'm wondering. Are they still playing sporting events?
Yeah, well, and so much is important to that country. I mean, a lot of movies are shot in Australia because it's one of those countries where they can, make anything look like somewhere else. And I don't know if it's as expensive as shooting in other countries, but I know that from an economy standpoint, the country does depend on several movies being shot there. So, they have the stringent laws to make sure, everybody's safe down there.
Well, hey guys, moving on to the Dolphins firing coach Brian Flores. And I'm thinking, okay, this must have been decided early in the season because the Dolphins won 8 of their last 9 games and the players are just sick over this. And
we'll get picked up.
I'm sick over this. This is crazy to me. Somebody tweeted out, and I apologize for not crediting the person that tweeted this out and had this take, but I 100% agree with it. If the best candidate on the market now is the person you just fired, you probably made the wrong decision.
Yeah.
That's a very good tweet. Yeah.
And he's going to be one of the top candidates for the Bears, for the Jaguars, for all these teams that just had incompetent coaching staffs in personnel. And I think if anybody can turn an organization around, and he had 2 back-to-back winning seasons, I think in Miami for the first time in like 20-something years, why not? He's got to be on the top of everybody's list right now.
I wonder if it goes.
Well, I guess for convenience-wise and weather-wise, I'd rather be standing on the sunlights in Jacksonville than at Soldier Field.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder, maybe it goes, there's something we don't know, behind the scenes.
That's always a possibility, and that's like 99% of the case. We just don't know the entire story. And it'd be really interesting to be a fly on the wall in those kinds of situations because outside looking in, it looks like, okay, you guys got to be the most incompetent franchise in sports history to let go a guy like this.
Especially when the players.
It's not like they're firing Vince Lombardi or anything.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's
it'd be one thing if you had all the players kind of saying, you got to get rid of this guy. Like it seemed almost like an Urban Meyer type of thing. But apparently all his players really like him, and he was doing a really good job. So yeah, there's got to be something. Maybe he asked for an extra $1,000 a game.
So I tell this to everybody: the number one thing, if something just doesn't make sense, it always goes to ownership. And you know what? Like really controls the media is ownership in every single sport. They really do. They really control the flow of information because they have so much money. They can really influence access to players and all these different things. So you don't want to touch the ownership thing. It usually always goes back to ownership 99% of the time.
Yeah, but then there's a lot of leaks too, right? You always kind of get the.
Yeah, but then if they find out who the leak is, you're pretty much blackballed in this industry. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah.
pretty interesting. So don't mess with ownership is the moral of that story.
Okay. And
Well, Flores won't be out of work for long. That's for
Will
sure.
not be.
and you know what? I was going to say the one thing about the Wild, we're going back to football again, the wild card games. Don't you just love that they're going to have Saturday, Sunday, and Monday?
Oh, it's great. Yeah. Well, hey, it's Monday's a holiday, so why not make a big weekend out of it?
Well, it's a holiday because it's my birthday, right?
Oh, happy birthday!
Well,
Thank you
you
very much.
Martin Luther, you and Dr. King. Sure.
Well, actually, no. His birthday was on the 15th.
Yeah, but his day is
His
your
day
day.
is on Sunday.
Yeah,
Whatever that
yeah.
Monday is. Yeah. So me and Ben Franklin.
Okay.
And Betty White too.
Oh,
I
she
know.
almost made it to 100.
Almost made it to 100. Yeah. All these people kind of dropping like flies. You know.
Yeah, crazy.
I mean,
Sidney Poitier.
yeah, I loved Sydney.
Mhm.
You know, one of my favorite movies is To Serve with Love.
Yeah.
You know,
And then,
love
for,
it.
and then for you fans of Full House, Bob Saget.
Oh yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I mean, he was kind of going downhill, like the last few years, wasn't he?
Unknown what happened to him. He was just found in his hotel room in Orlando, unresponsive.
Last thing, guys, I want to mention real quick: the college football national championship.
Yeah, Georgia, baby.
Ah,
Fun game to watch.
Very
Georgia Bulldogs.
Bulldogs win. They did it, and it's funny. Only took 19 5-star recruits to beat Alabama. So let it be known, nobody beat the Bulldogs. You know, unless you have those 19.
Yeah. No, he was.
That was their first natty since 1980.
Yeah.
I was a freshman in college then.
Oh
When they
wow!
won the natty. Oh yeah. So hey, I'll give credit to Kirby Smart, a Nick Saban disciple. The student finally beat the teacher, and they were just a better football team on that Monday night. And you know what? Even with the loss, the Crimson Tide, they're already the favorites for 2022 season.
It's crazy.
Well, they had the two wide receivers hurt. You know, the kind of star players, and as soon as I think it was Williams, is that his name?
Yes.
The one who went down with the knee. Oh,
That knee was buckling where it shouldn't be buckling. Yeah.
And, I kept thinking about the week before we were talking about players deciding, I'm not going to play in this, the Sugar Bowl or whatever because I don't want to get hurt. And then here we get the championship, and it's like, oh no, this guy got hurt. Oh, I hope he's not hurt.
But I wanted to say that there was absolutely no advertising and no pop for this college championship game. It was probably the most under-covered and under the radar college championship in history. I don't think anybody cared about it outside of, unless you're an Alabama or a Georgia fan. I mean, everyone was all
interesting. You mentioned that, Russ, because I was the same way. I didn't even know it was yesterday.
I forgot.
My dad.
I forgot about it completely. I was so wrapped up in everything else that until my brother, posted the score, I was like, oh yeah, there was the college championship.
What does that tell you about this particular TV market that we all live in?
That's true. The Bay Area. If you
college football goes over like a lead balloon in this market.
The ratings for here for local regionally in the Bay Area for professional sports are the best in the country. But
Sure.
College or any amateur sports, nobody could care. Nobody could care less.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Wow. I wonder, like, I was gonna say, I don't know how much of it has to do with vaccination. Like, if you can't, if you're not vaccinated, you can't go to Chase Center.
No, it's always been like that. Like we're like notorious here in Northern California to just not care about college sports, and including LA too. There's just too much to do. There's too much.
And I came in here forever ago from the Baltimore market, and it took a few years to kind of get used to try and just absorb the fact that nobody cared about college sports in this market.
I mean, even
Stanford or
Berkeley.
You can't even talk about it like you're at the water cooler with your friends and you're like, hey, did you watch the college football game last night?
Right.
You're like, no.
No.
I don't
No,
watch
but you know what though? I'll bet if you had now I remember Jim Plunkett playing for Stanford and getting into the Rose Bowl, and that was a big deal.
Yeah, but think about this, Edward. No cable.
Yeah.
No internet. Newspapers were a premium. I mean, it was a bigger deal back then. There weren't as many outside things kind of taking your attention away. I'll tell you a quick story. The Stanford men's team went to the Final Four in 1998. So we just thought, okay, great, big deal. Let's go see what the buzz is around the Stanford campus. Crickets. We walked all over campus, talked to students. There were students that were like, oh yeah, I heard they were having a good year. What?
Oh, man.
I mean, they're come on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're not
It
gonna
happened during the
get this,
Harbaugh years too in Stanford. Nobody
Yeah.
could realize
Yeah, yeah.
luck
If
and
you're
all that talent. They didn't even care at all.
if you're not going to care at the school that you're at, it's not going to be. Hey guys, we're going to cut to our next commercial break, but that's a good point. If you're not going to care at the school that you're going to, that the outsiders aren't going to care. You know,
Right.
Maybe you get the alumni. They kind of seem to care. Okay, here's our third trivia question. Our last one. 1978. This is an easy one. Which Seattle Seahawks wide receiver who was elected to Congress after his retirement from the league caught 5 passes for 75 yards, all in the second quarter of that Pro Bowl? And I know
I
Vern
believe I
knows
can
that.
answer this one.
Yeah,
I think I
think
can answer this one.
we'll give that to Russ.
We'll get up to Russ. Okay, well, Russ, if you know it, let's see. FP, you know this one?
No.
He might not.
Russ, you do know this
I
one,
didn't even
right?
hear it, to be honest. I wasn't paying attention.
Okay, I'll read it one more time. 1978. Which Seattle Seahawks wide receiver who was elected to Congress after his retirement from the league caught 5 passes for 75 yards, all in the second quarter of that Pro Bowl? And we got to give FP a pass, because if this happened before you were
Why
born.
you never give me a pass? What are you kidding me?
Listen, I'll give you a
Yes,
pass
that's
when I
like
ask for something in 1942, okay? Then I'll give you a
do.
pass.
You asked
Other
them
than
in
that,
the
forget it.
1800s in baseball.
All right, audience, stay with us, because you're going to love my thoughts for the day. They're really good. Okay, stay with us. Sports Econ 101 will be right back with some closing comments. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with FP Santangelo Jr., Vern, Glenn, and Russell Jackman. Last trivia question, 1978. Which Seattle Seahawks wide receiver who was elected to Congress after his retirement from the league caught 5 passes for 75 yards, all in the second quarter of that Pro Bowl? Russ?
And that would be Steve Largent.
That is correct. Very good.
Yes.
This is sort of like a scramble, Vern gets the first 2 questions, Russ gets the last one,
And FP
I
just
just
smiled
wanted
the
to-
entire time.
I
Well,
wanted
FP,
to
next time
quickly
I'll have
say
to have something. You give me the years. What year? Something like 2000 on up?
Yeah, that's pretty much
that'd
it.
be nice.
I mean,
That'd be nice. When I was at the Football Hall of Fame in 1991, so just a little more than 30 years ago, they had a gigantic statue there, and it was like 3 stories tall. It was dedicated to Steve Largent because he caught the most number of passes in a row. And
Can
I
I
was
give
like,
you
wow,
a
okay.
trivia question real quick? Very quick. Who was the
Perfect.
coach? Who's the 2018 NFL Coach of the Year?
2018
2018.
coach, NFL
Harbaugh.
coach of the year,
Yeah.
Harbaugh.
Nagy. Coach Nagy.
Wow.
Matt Nagy.
Matt Nagy.
Wow.
Okay, guys, you ready for our
Wow.
thoughts of the day? You're gonna
Quickly
love
they
this.
fall.
Okay, here's our
Maybe we
thoughts.
should
for
do a
the
whole hour of just each one of us asking trivia questions.
trivia
from
question.
each
That's
other.
true. We could.
Bad
Okay.
radio. Bad radio.
Okay, guys, here we go for our thoughts for the day. So I opened my pay envelope today and found it was full of parsley. Someone garnished my wages. I knew you'd like that one. And then and I heard the government was putting chips inside of people. Ooh, I hope I get Doritos.
Oh, please.
Sorry, I love that first one though. I knew you guys would love that garnish the wages. All right, audience, tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We'll be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and asking more sports trivia questions, and of course more dad jokes. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So long.
Adios.